World of Heroes. And Mr. Lee also has a convention that he owns now. It's called Kamikaze, and it is in Los Angeles, September of 2012. I was actually privileged enough to be a guest at Kamikaze the prior year, so now that Stan owns it, I'll be going again. So, without further ado, I would like you guys to put your hands together for a nice warm round of applause for Mr. Stan Lee.
Start.
Okay, I have to say, I have been a huge fan of everything you've done forever, for a very, very long time.
As it should be.
Yeah. I used to collect X-Men comic books, and I don't know if you saw this backstage, but I'm wearing my Professor Parking Only shirt for you today. Thank you. I just want to start first off with a question regarding your cameo role on Big Bang Theory.
Excuse me a moment.
Yes.
I rather think of myself not as someone who did a cameo in that show, but as the star of the show. What episode did you sing?
Oh my gosh, okay, my apologies. The episode that you starred on of Big Bang Theory, how was that experience filming that sitcom for you? How was that?
It's funny, I don't hear as well as I used to. And when this thing, when someone talks, you know what it sounds like to me? So you use this for them, but to me, just talk.
So the question is, how was your experience on Big Bang? Yes. Stop.
Now I'm going to tell you what he said, because he didn't use the microphone. And I was able to hear him very well. How did that experience affect me on the Big Bang Theory, right? Well, it didn't affect me, it affected the rest of the cast, because they had something to shoot for. They had a performance they had to try to equal, and it made them so nervous and tense. I think that's why they never asked me back again. No, to be serious, which is not easy for me, it was wonderful. The cast, they're the nicest people. I have a photograph of me with all of them, and the girl is kissing me on the cheek. And I got to tweet that one of these days, I think. Or maybe I did, I can't remember. The producer, Chuck Lorre, is a friend of mine. Years ago, I had a studio in Los Angeles called Stan Lee Productions. No, I'm sorry, Marvel Productions.
That's fine. Let's just call it Stan Lee Productions from now on.
What happened, when I came out west, I had always been in New York at Marvel. When I came out in 1980 to set up their animation studio, and we called it Stan Lee Productions. And at any rate, Chuck Lorre, the producer of The Big Bang Theory, and also 2.5 Men and other shows, he's one of the most successful guys. At that time, he was a writer working at Marvel Productions, so I got to know him, and he's the nicest guy in the world. And it's a funny thing, because I also got friendly with, who's the guy from 2.5 Men who left the show?
Charlie Sheen?
Charlie Sheen. I have a great memory. And I also have gotten friendly with Charlie Sheen, because we may be doing something together. So here I am friends with Charlie Sheen, and with Chuck Lorre, and they are not friends, and I'm in the middle, so if ever you hear of me being arrested or shot or anything, you know you heard it first here. But to answer your question, I'm only talking a lot because I hear we have like 3/4 of an hour to fill, and I don't know anything, so if I can talk about anything, it'll help a little bit. Anyway.
So, do you hang out with Charlie Sheen?
Why hang out with Charlie Sheen? In a nice way, I'm hoping you would.
Thank you.
No, I had lunch with him once. He came up to the office a couple times. We were supposed to get together, and I couldn't make it, or he couldn't make it. But the few times I've been with him, he's a hell of a nice guy, you know? And so is Chuck. I may try to get the two of them together. I may be one of the great peacemakers of all time.
Exactly. The peacemaker, Stan.
Oh, but I'll tell you something else about the show. You asked about the show. The show we were talking about was the Big Bang Theory. Just to show you, I can retain the thought for at least a minute. The Big Bang Theory, you hear a lot of applause and a lot of laughter at almost every line. And everybody thinks they have one of these laugh meters. You know, these things you plug in and they automatically laugh. But they don't. And they don't have a studio audience in the show. The people laughing are the people in the show themselves, the people working, the electricians, the photographers, all the people behind the camera. They're the ones who are always laughing because they really think it's funny. And I was so impressed when I saw that. But this is not a panel about the Big Bang Theory, so I promise not to say any more about it.
Thank you. All right, let's take a question from mic number 5, please. Center front.
How do you know who mic number 5 is?
It says it right there.
Oh, this technical age.
Go ahead. Stan, after 20 years in the comic business in the early 1960s, you became an overnight success. You created such iconic characters as Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, Thor, Iron Man, Doctor Strange, X-Men, Daredevil, Ant-Man. You assembled the Avengers.
Sergeant Fury.
And Sergeant Fury. Classes were 11 of the most popular, well-known, loved characters in popular culture.
I like this guy, whoever he is.
And I was just wondering, those 3 years, 61, 62, 63, those 11 characters we just talked about, I'd like to know what those years were like. When it was happening, was it like just something, did you know something amazing and incredible was happening? Was it just like hit the deadlines, get the job done? Or did you realize what was really, did you feel what was happening there? Phenomenon.
Well, I never knew that it would lead to an exciting moment like this in Calgary. All that happened, really, I was writing these things and I was hoping the books would sell so I'd keep my job and be able to pay the rent. I don't think any of us ever felt we were onto something that would turn into what it turned into. And it happened gradually. You know, DC Comics was the big company, and they were always outselling us. And we were all friends in the business, even though it seemed we tried to pretend we were rivals, but we all had drinks together and we knew each other and went out together. I was friends with Carmine Infantino, who at that time was the editor-in-chief of DC, which was then called National Comics. So anyway, all that we were trying to do was get books that would sell as well as DC's, so that would mean we were successful, we wouldn't worry about going out of business. And little by little, after the Fantastic Four, our sales started to increase. And after a few years, we started outselling DC. So something told me we were on the right track. But again, I never thought it would end up with movies and talking at big conventions and being with Garrett here, who's an actual live-action actor in a famous series. I mean, wow.
Thank you. That's so kind of you. I have a question. Now, when you did develop Fantastic Four, any of these other characters, was there a period of time where you had to go through a drawing board process where you were saying, well, should it be the Fantastic 7? No. 6? No. 4? I mean, was there things, ideas that you scrapped, and then how long, where did you just come upon it like that?
Well, I knew what I wanted to do. I knew that I wanted a few characters that I would try to treat differently than comic book characters had been treated before. You know, up until then, it seemed that every superhero, and there weren't that many, but every superhero had a secret identity and wore a costume, which revealed his a real identity. And I used to think to myself, oh no, wait, I can't say that. I said that the other day, and my wife said, Stan, what do you mean you think to yourself? Who else would you think to? So I always try to catch myself. I thought, I didn't think to myself. What was I saying? So I've got to stop sidetracking myself. So anyway, I wanted to get some character. Oh, I know what it was. I felt if I had a superpower, which is not to say I don't, but if I had a superpower, my first thought wouldn't be to run out and get a costume and a mask. First of all, I'm a pretty conceited guy. If I had a superpower, I'd want everybody to know, look at me, I can do what you can't do. Ha ha. I mean, think of the fun Superman could have had if he told everybody I'm Clark Kent, and when he walked down the street, people would ask for his autograph and pretty girls would follow him. What an idiot he was to keep his identity secret. So that was one of the things. I didn't want secret identities. Then my publisher felt that the book had to have a teenager. See, these people feel if you're catering to a certain audience, you have to have a character who represents that audience. Just like a lot of kids read Frankenstein and Dracula, that's why there were so many teenagers in those stories. I mean, it's the dumbest thing in the world, but the publishers felt that way. So I had to have a teenager, but I didn't want to make him a token boy wonder or something. I figured I'd make him a real kid who didn't think that was the Human Torch, Johnny Storm. For those of you who haven't been following, I figured that I'd make him a kid who really would rather drive his Chevy Corvette than go chasing villains. And he wasn't just some kid who hung around, but he was the younger brother of the heroine. And the heroine, I didn't want to make her a token girl who doesn't know who the hero is. I made her a heroine who works with the hero, and she knows who he is, and then I figured I'll let them be engaged. That'll be fun. They're going to be married. And they got the kid brother there, so that's 3 of them. And no, I didn't mention Reed Richards. I wanted to get the main hero to be a guy a little bit like me. He talks too much, bores the hell out of people, and the only way he's not like me, he was a scientific genius. And I hate to admit this, but I'm not. And in fact, the most I know about science, I wanted something to happen to them when they were up in the spaceship to give them their power. So I figured, okay, they were blasted by cosmic rays. Now I gotta tell you, I wouldn't know a cosmic ray from a hole in the ground. All I know is the expression, a cosmic ray. Like with Bruce Banner when he became the Hulk. I figured, well, I've already used the cosmic ray. What other rays are there? Okay, he got hit by a gamma ray. I don't know what those rays are. The only reason I didn't have the X-Men hit by any rays, I had run out of rays. I don't know any other one. What the hell was the question?
It doesn't matter. Let's take a question from Mike 2. Mike 2?
Hi, my name is Noel. I just wanted to know, all the generations that grew up reading comics. My dad was a big Thor fan, and I'm a huge Hulk fan. I just want to know how you felt about, so many generations of people from now all the way back to the 60s that you influenced with your books.
All of that except how I felt about what?
Can you repeat that again? I didn't hear it either.
Sorry. How you feel, how you influence the generations as far as, because there's a moral contents to all your books, to all your comics?
There was a moral tone